Hey gardeners, I need to up-pot a fig today. Actually one of the ones that I had on the store, it's just too rooted out at this point and I don't want it to get root bound, so I need to up-pot it, and I'll probably plant this in ground in my yard somewhere. But thought I'd just take you through the process of how to do that. Here's a look at the plant. So it's in one of those 4x9 tree pots. It's a beautiful Bourjasotte Grise that definitely needs to come out of this little pot. So I will be putting this into a 4-gallon pot. You could go bigger if you wanted. You could go to even up to a 15-gallon. You know, if you plan to long-term container grow this. I'm not, so a 5-gallon or a 4-gallon in this case does the job just fine. So for my soil media, I have about 1/3 of this cactus soil mix, which is suitable for indoor planting as well as outdoor. And then 2/3 I have of peat moss. What I'm going to do is just hand mix this all in. And of course, whatever container you use, make sure it's got some nice drainage holes, like this one does. What I'm going to add is some mycorrhiza into the soil. It's going to help with roots. And we'll go ahead and slide this plant out. So we got a nice network of roots on this one. So just broke apart the bottom of the root ball a little bit and spread it out. Just because this was a little bit deeper than wide in its original container. So now we can see this plant has a lot of space to grow into. If you did purchase one of the 4x9 fig plants from me, you definitely want to up-pot that soon if you haven't already. Those are fully rooted out. You don't want to keep a fig constrained to a small pot. It's going to get root bound if you do that. So pretty simple to up-pot, and I really don't recommend any one kind of potting soil. I do like to stay away from Miracle Grow because they put junk in their mixtures. You know, keep to something more organic. But other than that, I mean, any potting soil will do the job. You just want something that's good draining. And then since we are in triple digits now, I do recommend putting a layer of mulch on top to help conserve water, prevent that evaporation from occurring on your plants. Because when you do container grow plants, you have to be cognizant in our climate that they're going to dry out very quickly. Don't be surprised if you have to water every day when you container grow, because those roots are, you know, not in the ground where they can stay cooler. They're above the ground, and all that radiant heat around them can really dry them out quickly. So with feeding, it's going to come down to personal choice. Just know that with an in-ground tree, you don't have to feed as often because the food is staying, you know, near the roots. Whereas with the container plant, you're actually flushing that food out every time that you water. So you will have to feed your plants, your container plants, more often. What I tend to like to do is use a fish fertilizer like this every week to 2 on these plants, and they will grow like crazy. Fish fertilizer is not all that difficult to deal with. Just go ahead and drop in like a capful into a watering bucket. And I like to do this when the plant is not in full sun. Putting fertilizer on the leaves could burn them if it's in full sun. Just go ahead and do this in the shade. Soak that in really well. And putting the fish fertilizer on the leaves is a nice foliar type application. It's just another delivery system to getting that food into the plant. I've had phenomenal results with using the fish fertilizer. And that is how I fed all of my fig trees initially when I planted them out back in 2017. And they grew from a tiny plant that was less than a foot tall to over 7 feet tall that first year. Hopefully this was helpful to those of you that need to up pot your fruit trees to a bigger size. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.